Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarchinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadami Bhagavat Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sankapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasti Tadatgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om. So, namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji. Pranam.
Namaste,
Guruji.
Okay, we will chant the 55th shloka. Mat karma krid mat paramaha
Mad
mad bhakta sangha varjitaha nirvaira sarva bhuteshu Yaha samameti pandava. So, with the shloka number 54, the Vishwarupa Darshanam topic is over. And as I said in the last class, Lord Krishna is now presenting a prelude to what is going to be discussed in the next chapter, that is the chapter number 12. And we must remember that we are still in the second Shatkam, and the topic is understanding Ishvara Swarupam. Now, having ruled out all other sadhanas like Veda Adhyayanam, Dhanam, rituals, etc., as a means for knowing and reaching the ultimate reality, in Shloka 54, Krishna said that there is only one sadhana, which is Ananya Bhakti, which will help the spiritual seeker to reach his goal. And we saw that Ananya Bhakti means Jignasu Bhakti, which was talked about in the 7th chapter. And according to Krishna, bhakti is not the name of just one sadhana. It is the name of the entire range of spiritual sadhanas which will take a person to moksha. And as I said, this range of spiritual sadhanas is broadly divided into three in the Shastras, which Krishna will divide into five in the next chapter. The first level of sadhana is called Karma Lakshana Bhakti. Bhakti which is in the form of Karma Yoga, which we were discussing towards the end of last class. The Karma Lakshana Bhakti is expressed in the form of Karma Yoga. And as we discussed, there can be no Karma Yoga without Bhakti because Shraddha, trust and reverence in the Lord alone are the fundamentals on which Karma Yoga sadhana, which consists of Ishwararpana Bhava and Ishwara Prasada Bhava, are founded. Without devotion to the Lord, Karma Yoga is impossible. And then we discuss the two stages of Karma Yoga, wherein in the first stage, a person is a karta of the action and bhokta of the results of action which he or she receives. And when whatever be the result, the person has no choice but to accept it, isn't it? And as even I keep practicing Karma Yoga, I reach a stage where I understand the importance of dedicating all the karmas to Ishvara. And this attitude requires bhakti. And then I have varied experiences in my life. Every experience is my own karma phala. So when I receive the karma phalam, which could range from the bitterest to the happiest experience, I have to accept all of them without any resistance, with an attitude that Ishvara, who is a karma phala dhatha, knows the best. So now I have Ishvara Prasada Bhavana also. And because of this Bhavana, Karma Yoga becomes a bhakti. And once I follow this Karma Yoga for a sufficient period of time, I may graduate to the next level of sadhana, which is called Upasana Rupa Bhakti. Bhakti in the form of meditation or dhyanam. And this level of bhakti is required because a karma yogi is always an extrovert. Because he is all the time a karta, a bhokta, and therefore he is interacting with the world all the time, because of which his mind is extrovert. Whereas as a Vedantic seeker, ultimately he has to discover the Lord not outside, but the Lord has to be and can be discovered only within oneself. Taittiriya Upanishad describes Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Nihitam Guhayam. He is to be that Param Brahma has to be discovered within the small space which is there within our own heart, inside our body. So the real God is not outside, he is not in temples. He is also in temples, we can say, but the real God is in my own heart. So an extrovert mind can never discover that real God. And therefore, one has to convert the extrovert mind into an introvert, or if you don't like the phrase introvert, non extrovert mind. This is the second level of sadhana called Upasana Lakshana Bhakti. And that is also a form of bhakti. And here I visualize the Lord within oneself, so that I learn to turn my mind inward. Shantakaram Bhujagasayanam Padmanabham Suresham. When I chant, I try to visualize the Lord within my mind itself. An extrovert mind cannot do that. Every part of my body, I try to visualize the devatas, the cosmic powers. Prajanane Brahma Tishtato, Padayor Vishnus Tishtato, Hastayor Haras Tishtato, Lagunyasam Rudram. The entire Rudra Prashnam and Chamakam, or at least Rudram, is nothing but Upasana. Both ways you can use Rudram, as Upasanam and also as an extrovert bhakti doing puja. But from a Vedantic perspective, you must understand the entire Rudram is visualizing the Lord Rudra within one's own self. That is Upasana Lakshana Bhakti. And therefore, we have to train the mind. And there also, we have to start with Ekarupa Ishwaraha, move to Aneka Rupa Ishwaraha, etc. Aneka Rupa Ishwara can be the Upasya Devata. But the main idea of Upasana is turning the mind inward. And this is called Upasana Lakshana Bhakti. And then comes the final stage called Jnana Lakshana Bhakti, which is the study of scriptures to discover the real nature of God, which is called Vedanta Vicharaha, which is called Jnana Yoga. And that is also a form of bhakti only. And that is why it is called Jnana Yajna. This term, Jnana Yajna, was coined by Swami Chinmayananda ji. And he named all his Gita talks, public talks on Bhagavad Gita, as Gita Jnana Yajna, which means study of scriptures is also a form of yajna, a form of puja only. And that is why what we are all doing now, this very movement in every Vedanta class, is a form of puja, a form of bhakti only. And that is why, Acharyas insist, when you come to the class, you are doing puja, don't be distracted by anything else, by your cell phone, mobile phone, or somebody talking behind, listening to some other music. That is the importance. If you are serious about your spiritual journey, this 1 hour class, Gita class or Upanishad class or any other classes that you may be attending. That is the time for your connection with Ishvara. Time to show your reverence. Time to indulge in that bhakti towards that Almighty Lord. And if you are actually concentrating, focusing your mind for 1 hour in the class, absorbing every word that is being spoken, assimilating every idea that is being presented, without allowing your mind to get distracted, that it itself is upasana. That is meditation. Meditation does not mean closing your eyes and sitting in, this dhyana mudra and then doing mental japa. Meditation essentially is focusing your mind on a particular topic, on a particular subject, and allowing that mind to train itself to focus on that particular subject. That is Jnana Lakshana Bhakti. So Karma Lakshana Bhakti, Upasana Lakshana Bhakti, and Jnana Lakshana Bhakti. A person has to practice bhakti in these threefold forms and ultimately become one with the Lord. As I said, these 3 stages Krishna will present in the next chapter. Karma Lakshana Bhakti itself, he divides into Upasana. It divides into 2. Upasana he divides into 2, and Jnana is 1. So 2 plus 2 plus 1, 5. So Krishna presents the threefold bhakti into 5 types. And this is just a trailer, what they call nowadays as a teaser, Full-length film will start in the 12th chapter. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga is not a particular sadhana nor an independent path to moksha, as some people would like us to believe. And that is why I often say that in and through all the sadhanas in the spiritual path, bhakti is the most important aspect. So bhakti is karma plus upasanam plus jnanam. And therefore Krishna says, mat karma krit bhava. Hey Arjuna, first become a karma yogi. And as a karta, whatever you do, yat yat karma karoti tat tat akhilam sambhotavaradhanam. And kayena vacha manasa indriyerva buddhyatmana vat prakate survavat narayana yedi samarpayami. It need not be a religious action. Whether it is secular or sacred, everything you dedicate to the Lord. And as a bhokta, never protest. Whatever comes is welcome. All this Krishna has already said in the 2nd and 3rd chapter. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Siddha siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. All this he has already said. So with a mental balance, with a mental equanimity, accepting all experiences in life, is karma yoga rupa bhakti. May you follow that, O Arjuna, mat karma krit bhava. And then he says, mat bhaktah bhava. I am changing the order for the sake of convenience. Mat bhakta bhava, may you become my devotee. That is, slowly convert your goal as God himself. Take your own time. There is no need to hurry. Initially, nobody would choose God as the goal. or moksha as a goal for that matter. If they are, learned enough, if they have the knowledge, moksha and God will appear in their list of to be achieved. But somewhere down below, last item or something. And we have got a ready excuse, God can wait. Because it is eternal. Whereas other things in my life are very important and they are immediate. I have to do it now. Bhagavan says it doesn't matter. Don't worry. Focus on artha and kama purushartha. I have no problem with that. And therefore, initially, you might have worldly desires, fulfill them. Of course, legitimately, in a dharmic way. Enjoy them also and gradually understand their limitations, their potential to give you eternal happiness. Understand that. Understand that in and through all your seekings, you are seeking only one thing, and that is happiness, and that too, always you want to be happy. That is the ultimate goal. And that goal, when you realize, gradually convert your that goal from arthakama to moksha, because moksha is that state of eternal happiness. Let your goal be changed from prayas to shreyas in the language of Kathopanishad. So mad bhaktaha bhava, tivra mumukshuhu bhava. Be an ardent desirer of moksha. Seek the eternal, not the ephemeral. Start understanding the difference between temporary and permanent, the reliable and unreliable. Understand that the whole world, how much so reliable and permanent it may seem now, is subject to time and it is perishable. Therefore, do not lean upon the perishable world. If at all you want to learn to lean upon the imperishable God. We have discussed earlier that the first stage is shifting from world dependence to God dependence. And when you discover the God within yourselves, then it becomes self-dependence. Therefore, mad bhaktaha bhava, gradually learn to depend on God. And if anybody asks you what is your security, never name any local ones, any insurance company or anything. If anybody asks what is your security in your life, only say, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam mahamyaham. That is the sentence I always remember. I always consider God is my only security because He has promised me both yoga and kshema. In the 22nd sloka of the 9th chapter of Gita, and I have no reason to disbelieve God, to distrust God. Whatever I have been considering as my security, I now realize have all been arranged by God only. So my ultimate security in my life is Bhagavan only. That realization comes. And for getting that realization, train your mind all the time by saying, my support is God. Yes, there are people around me. I have got investments, bank balance as for financial security. All that I have got, I interact with people also. I help them. I do everything for them. But for my leaning, my security and support, I want to rely only upon God. Because my savings may be there today, may not be there tomorrow. People on whom I am depending, whom I think are my security, who are around me, may be there today, may not be there tomorrow. But I know one thing, Bhagavan, Ishvara, the cosmic powers will always be there till the end of this kalpa. Even during pralayam, Bhagavan will be there. Therefore, mad bhaktah bhava. And then he says, mat paramah bhava. Gradually become yativra mumukshu. Moksha must be my only goal. It is not one of the goals. It is the only goal. And any other thing that I seek also should be only a means for that end alone. Whether I earn money, whether I work somewhere, whatever I do, they are all means for that one end, which is moksha. So, mat paramaha bhava means become a tivra mumukshu. In short, sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha bhava. And then sanghavarjitaha. As you learn to lean and depend more and more on higher things, then your attachment to other things will gradually drop. As we grow as children, we have used so many toys and we were so much attached to the toys. And if a neighbor's child comes to our home and picks up one of the toys, we would scream, create a racket. But what about now? Now we have got higher attachments. So we have outgrown the attachment to our toys. In fact, now if the neighbor's child comes to our house, we will happily pick up some of the toys with which we have played and give it to that neighbor as long as the toys are in working condition. And that child will happily go away, smile and happily say thanks and go away. Once we wanted ordinary biscuit. Now we have replaced the ordinary biscuit with a golden biscuit. Biscuit being the same, it's a different kind of biscuit. So when I have got higher attachment, the lower attachment gradually declines and falls off. If suppose today, for your birthday, if somebody presents you with a toy train, you are not going to be enamored by that, isn't it? Similarly, your desire for moksha should swallow all other desires. And therefore, sanghavarjitaha bhava, be detached from all other perishable things, which is raga rahitaha bhava. And Krishna wants here, nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu. Freedom from raga does not mean development of dvesha. Hatred of the world is not prescribed. Hatred of the family members is not prescribed. Going away from the family members, being upset with their behavior is not prescribed. So no raga, no dvesha also. So sarva bhuteshu, with regard to every being, every human being, animals, plants, everything, nirvairah bhava. Free yourself from the enmity or dvesha. In short, raga dvesha atitatvam is maturity. So real maturity is what is called udasina bhavana. It is called udasinyam, neither raga nor dvesha. And we can come to know if we are free from raga and dvesha by our responses to situations and people. Whether any situation is present or absent should not make any difference to me. The more samatva bhava we have, the freer we will be from the grip of raga and dvesha. And such a mind is called raga dvesha atitvam, which is otherwise called vairagyam. So in short, develop viveka, develop vairagyam, develop mumukshutvam. That is real bhakti. And if you have got all these three things, sa mameti pandava, such a person will certainly attain me, says Krishna. Because I will provide him with all the necessary conditions to attain moksha. So, the main aim of the sadhaka should be developing sadhana chatushtaya sampatti alone. And the rest of the things have to take place by God's grace only. Because to get jnanam, I require a guru. Because guru is one who has got the jnanam. Firstly, I do not know where to find such a guru. And secondly, I do not know when I will get such a guru. Whether a person has got jnanam or not, I will not know. Because I don't have that jnanam. A blind man can never know whether another person is blind or not, isn't it? An ajnani can never find who is a jnani. Therefore, if I develop sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, Bhagavan says, I will send you a guru. So many people ask this question in the satsanga. How do I develop jnana chatushtaya sampatti? The answer is simple. You need not develop 100% sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. If you have already found a guru, a Vedanta guru, who is ready, who is able to accept you as a Shishya and ready to show you the mirror of the Shastra, lay before you the guide map for spiritual journey towards moksha, you can take it that you already have got the required sadhana chatushtaya sampatti to start your journey on this course, on this Vedanta, on this moksha path. So you need not have any doubt about that. You can consider yourself to be sufficiently ready for the spiritual path. The Shastra says once you are sufficiently ready, you will find a guru or a guru will find you. And this happens by God's grace only, by the blessings of God. What do you mean by God's grace? By your Purva Janma karmas only. That was we have to understand. In Vedanta, we don't believe in some luck and all that, something happening without any previous reason, prior reason. We don't know, but we must have done Purva Janma karma. That is why you get a guru in this Janma. And that is the karma phalam which Bhagavan has given you in this Janma. And such a person will ultimately get Guru, Jnanam and Moksha. So, Mameti Pandava. Such a person becomes one with me. So, as I said, this is the capsule sloka, which will be elaborated in the 12th chapter, which will be titled as, or which is titled as Bhakti Yoga, appropriate title. That completes the 11th chapter teaching. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishwarupa Darshana Yogo Nama Ekadashodhyaya. So the 11th chapter of Gita is over, which is titled Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Now we have got sufficient time, so we can start the summary of this chapter. I will give you the summary. Okay, good. It has been a little long chapter, 55 slokas. We have covered it in 21 classes, in fact 20 and a half. Today is the 21st class, I think. Anyway, the significance of this chapter can be fully grasped only if a person has got the background of the previous chapters of the Gita, especially from the 7th chapter up to the 10th chapter. Because this chapter is a development based on the foundation of the previous 4 chapters. And if you recall, Krishna talked about Ishvara Swarupam, the definition of the nature of God, very elaborately. And therein, Krishna has mentioned that the definition of God is Ishvaraha Jagat Karanam. God is the cause of the universe. And naturally, for a student who has been listening to some Upanishad classes, attending Gita classes, there will be a question. What type of cause is God? Because we know the cause is twofold, intelligent cause and other is material cause, out of which any effect is born. Just as a carpenter is the intelligent cause of the furniture, and a block of wood is the material cause of the furniture, any product requires both an intelligent as well as material cause. So naturally, our question will be which type of cause God is. And Krishna pointed out that God is both the intelligent as well as the material cause of the universe. In Sanskrit, we say Abhinna Nimitta Upadhana Karanam Ishvaraha. So of these two causes, we focus upon one cause, that is the material cause aspect in the 4 chapters. And when we focus on these material cause aspect, we come to know that the material cause alone modifies or transforms to become the various effects. Of course, blessed or backed by the intelligent cause. And this we clearly see in day-to-day life, day-to-day experiences. One gold alone evolves or manifests into varieties of ornaments. One piece of wood alone becomes varieties of furniture. One lump of clay alone becomes varieties of potteries. Thus, we find that the cause alone manifests in the form of effect. In fact, there is no effect separate from material cause. So, Swarna Vyatiriktena Abharanani na santi. Or we can say Mrit Vyatiriktena Ghatadi na santi. Also, there is no furniture separate from wood. There are no products separate from the material cause. To put it in another language, one material cause alone appears as manifold effect by assuming different names and forms. Thus, behind all names and forms of the product, there is only one material cause. That means whenever I am experiencing an effect, in fact, I am experiencing the cause alone. And therefore, if I have to have a darshanam of the cause, I need not search for it separately. All that I need to understand is that when I am seeing the effect, I am experiencing the cause only. We have seen so many examples behind bangle, name and form, chain, name and form, ring, name and form. What I am experiencing is the material cause, the gold alone. That means I should always have the darshanam of gold. I need not make any attempt separately. All that I need to do is to understand that when I am seeing the ornaments, I am seeing the causal gold alone. Therefore, Karya Darshanam is essentially Karana Darshanam only. And this is an important, very important fact which we should remember when we see these 4 chapters. And Lord Krishna applies this principle and points out, hey Arjuna, I am the material cause of the entire creation, consisting of para and apara prakriti. I hope you remember all these terminologies. So, para prakriti yukta Ishvara eva is this universe. Para apara prakriti yukta Ishvara eva is this universe. Which means what? The universe is nothing but God evolved with different nama rupa. Therefore, Ishwarasya avastha bedaha eva prapanchaha. Avastha means condition. Therefore, Karanam and Karyam are one and the same material only. One is that which is Karanam is with potential Nama Rupa, whereas Karyam is with manifest Nama Rupa. And therefore, Krishna wants to say that Ishvara and the world can never be different. When all the names and forms are resolved, like melting all the ornaments, what obtains is called Avyakta Nama Rupa, which we call Ishvara. When the very same Ishvara available with evolved Nama Rupa, that is called Prapancha. Therefore, Ishvara eva Prapancha, Prapancha eva Ishvara. which means there is no difference between Prapancha Darshanam and Ishvara Darshanam. Therefore, whenever I am looking at the universe, I am only looking at the Lord with infinite varieties of Nama Rupa. In short, the world is the very embodiment of the Lord. And if I do not have this understanding, I will call it the world. But if I have this understanding, I will call it as the form or embodiment of Ishvara. And when I look at the world as the embodiment of Ishvara, it is called Vishwarupa Darshana. When I look at the very world as the embodiment of the Lord, as the very body of the Lord, that new perception based on the new understanding, that understanding is called Divya Chakshuhu. And based on this new understanding, when I have got a new attitude towards ordinary universe, that new attitude is extraordinary attitude. The world is ordinary world, but I am developing an extraordinary attitude born out of the understanding. And what is the new attitude? This which I thought to be the world is nothing but Ishwarasya Shariram. And therefore, Vishwarupa Darshanam is not an extraordinary object, an extraordinary experience. It is an extraordinary attitude towards an ordinary, regularly available universe. And it is not that this is entirely unknown to us. Many ordinary things, when they are associated with some great people or a great place, that very same ordinary things becomes extraordinary. Isn't it? We have seen the example of a laddu. Laddu, sweet. Which ordinarily we will see is an embodiment of sugar and gram flour. Especially if you have got a sugar problem, if you are a diabetic patient, you will be forbidden to even look at what to talk of consuming it. Even though you have raga for the laddu, you will have to pretend that you have dvesha towards it, which is what I do most of the time. And when someone offers you a laddu, you turn your face away and say, no, 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 actually, I'm a sugar patient. I cannot have this. But then that person says, listen, this is Tirupati laddu, Balaji Prasada. Now will you refuse? You will say, oh, Balaji Prasada, oh, I didn't know it. So you will at least take a small pinch, you'll pinch it. You will not take the whole laddu because still it is a laddu only. But now it has become a Balaji Prasada. So you cannot refuse a Prasada. So you take a small pinch, put it in your mouth. Sometimes you will take it in your hand, small pinch, touch your eyes as a symbol of reverence, and then put it in your mouth. That Balaji Prasada Laddu, Tirupati Laddu, is also made of the same material like an ordinary Laddu. But what has changed? Now you have got a new understanding and therefore a new attitude. But to partake even a small piece of the Tirupati Laddu, you need to be a Balaji Bhakta. Otherwise, you will not have that change in attitude. Suppose you call, there is an African tribal, and you go to him and offer him, you see, this is Tirupati Laddu, Balaji Prasada. He will ask, what is Pati, Tirupati, what Pati? he will not have that extraordinary attitude because he does not know the value of Balaji. Therefore, when I take the very same laddu and touch my eyes and then put it in my mouth, that means it is not a mere physical appreciation. Hidden behind the action is a non-physical value which can never be discovered by any chemical analysis or physical analysis. The laddu being the same, the appreciation, the extra value is the attitude born out of understanding. This attitude born out of understanding is called Divya Chakshuhu. And we can cite numerous examples of how a value attached to an ordinary thing brings about a change in our attitudes towards that object, from an ordinary attitude to an extraordinary attitude. And when we develop the same attitude towards the world at large and perceive it as the very embodiment of Ishvara, that perception is called Divya Chakshuhu, or a mature mind, which is able to perceive something valuable beyond what the five sense organs can perceive. Swami Paramatanandaji gives another beautiful example from today's world. Imagine you meet a friend and he says that he has got something extremely valuable that he would like to show you rather. And he takes you to some room inside and he brings out some object which is wrapped in several pieces of cloth. And he removes the wraps very carefully and says, I paid 5 million rupees for this to impress upon me how valuable that thing is, which he has brought to show me, or actually I have changed the you to me, it doesn't matter. Finally, what comes out is an old and broken guitar. Strings all, broken, which looks like the one sold in used musical instrument shop. I look at my friend with a big question mark on my face, which says, you mean you paid 5 million rupees for this broken guitar? Come on, I can't believe it. I think you have been cheated by somebody. At that time, my friend seems to have read my mind and says, no, don't misunderstand. This is Harrison's guitar. Now, some of you may wonder who this Harrison is. Whom he is referring to is George Harrison, who was the leading guitarist of the band group called Beatles, who were very popular in the 60s and 70s. And what my friend showed me was a guitar used by that George Harrison, which of course has become old and broken now. But being a great Beatles fan, my friend considers this as an antique piece worth paying 5 million rupees to own it, which is otherwise not even worth 50 rupees. So how does this old broken piece of wood called a guitar get this extraordinary value? It is not the value for the guitar, but the value attached to the guitar because of the famous person who used it. There was a time when the whole world would go crazy for the song of Beatles group. That group was once upon a time more popular than even movie stars. Now, what makes the difference in the value of that guitar is my friend's perception of its value, which another person like me may not appreciate, because either I have not heard of Harrison or I have no interest in Western music. But for him, it is a great treasure worth 5 million rupees. So he is able to see the guitar with the Divya Chakshuhu, even though, that expression may not be correct in this context. We can put it within quotes, Divya Chakshuhu, for the sake of our understanding. And therefore, when he looks at that ordinary object through the physical eye, and he has got an extraordinary attitude, he sees the value of the person behind the object. And Swamiji quotes several other examples of similar values being attributed to, say, Bradman's bat or Tendulkar's bat, etc. Even a pair of slippers can acquire such a value if it was used by, say, Mahatma Gandhi. And therefore, we should remember that appreciation is twofold. One is physical and other is attitudinal. Attitudinal appreciation comes out of training and understanding. So I should have been a bhakta, a devotee of Bhagawad, or an ardent fan of that beetle for several years. Then alone I can appreciate the value of the guitar. Then alone I can appreciate the value of Tirupati Laddu. And for that, I should know all the exploits of Bradman or Harrison or Tendulkar. I should have been a Parama Bhakta, knowing all the statistics. How many centuries Tendulkar has scored, how many runs, how many catches behind wickets. All these statistics are there. If I study all that, and if I become a Bhakta, then an ordinary bat associated with him will have an extraordinary value. And extending this thought process to this universe is also something ordinary because we have been contacting and interacting with it all the time. So therefore, I should have bhakti for Ishvara first, which requires lot of training. And once I have developed bhakti for the Lord, later I should be able to associate this universe as the very embodiment of that Ishvara. Then appreciation of Ishvara should be there, and understanding that this world is connected with Ishvara. Then the value of the world to me is not just 5 billion rupees or 5 billion rupees. It becomes something immeasurable. It is extraordinarily divine. And this requires tremendous intellectual drill and mental refinement, because we are not seeing anything new, but we are seeing something old with a new attitude. And only then Vishwarupa Darshanam can be understood properly. I am repeating some of the points again and again because it has to go drilled into the mind. And that is the biggest impediment. When we look at the world, which leads to mamakara and ahankara. And that is why Krishna devotes 4 chapters of training. And in the 11th chapter, we get the culmination. That is the background we have to keep in our mind when we are understanding this chapter. Now it's almost time. We will see the text of the chapter and the summary of the text of the chapter in the next class. I will close a 1 minute early today to compensate for 1 minute late in which I have taken in some of the other classes. Okay. So we will continue in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। धन्यवादः। थैंक यू ऑल वेरी मच।
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
नमस्कार।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी। हरि ओम।
Thank you, Guruji.
You made today ordinary class into extraordinary.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
हरि ओम।
Yes,
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. very, very enlightening. Thank you very much, Guruji. Thank you.
हरि ओम। हरि ओम।
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Thank you.
थैंक यू। थैंक यू।
Thank you very much, Guruji.
हरि ओम। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Guruji, mine is not a question proper, but only thing is when you are explaining about the Karanam and Karyam are one and the same.
कारणम and कार्यम.
Sorry, Karanam and Karyam. So Karanam is the cause and then the Karyam is the effect. So what about Karta also is the same?
कर्ता.
Karta, Karanam, Karanam, Karta. In the Vishnu Sahasranam also it comes. That is the...
Don't confuse karanam with karanam.
Uh-huh.
Karanam, karta, karanam is a different thing.
Karanam here is instrument, is it?
Karanam means instrument.
Instrument, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So karanam is cause.
Cause, yeah.
Don't confuse the two words karanam and karanam.
Yeah, that's why I had that confusion. I thought I'll ask you.
No. Karta, karanam, karma. That's a different issue altogether. We are not talking about that here.
Okay,
We
correct.
are talking about karanam and karyam, the cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om. Yeah.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Okay, no other questions seems, no hands are going up. So we'll close the class and continue next week. And then if we get time, we will start the 12th chapter next week. Okay. We'll get, depends on when I finish the summary. Okay. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you all once again. Thank
Hari
you.
Om, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari
Thank you,
Om.
Guruji. Hari Om.